Hello everyone, this is Alina with the Astro Wellness Method podcast, and today we're going to continue talking about Mercury Retrograde in Cancer, and we're going to mention its effect and influence through the houses. And I also want to discuss in general the weather, the astro weather today, what I experienced, share my thoughts, and see if you can add anything else from yourself. So I woke up today full of zest and energy, only to find out a few hours later, I'm sorry, it's crows flying here, a few hours later that complete fogginess had entered the room. So this whole week the sky had been gray in Los Angeles, and honestly the whole town feels pretty gloomy until we get around 4 p.m. when the sun finally starts coming out. So we already have this strange rhythm in the body, and the atmosphere at the beginning of the day feels very slow, muted, foggy, and then suddenly something opens later. Now that we add Mercury retrograde in Cancer, Mars connecting with Uranus, and already noticeable influence of Neptune preparing to station retrograde next Tuesday, the only thing you can really do, guys, is going with the flow. There is nothing wrong with your life, just because you feel a certain way. This is important to understand because during weeks like this, people often start identifying with this heaviness, confusion. You start to pay attention to this. You start to kind of like going down with these feelings, okay, with all the emotional reactions. And suddenly you are in the middle of this snowball. But sometimes the energy is simply just moving through the collective field and through your body, through the nervous system, mind, and any other place, so you just have to go with the flow and let it pass through you. As always, my favorite, versely, be like water, my friend, right? So plan accordingly when possible. Give yourself more space. Do not overestimate your capacity if your body is clearly telling you otherwise. Also, do not force any productivity, like when it's not meant to be. If you feel that you need to rest, it's clearly that you need to rest. If you feel that you need to pause, it's clearly you need to pause. The same if you feel that you need to eat or drink, this is what happens. Okay, so obviously in proportion, this is the most important thing. The middle ground, the golden thread, the common ground. This is like the most important thing in our life: harmony, golden ratio, and balance in absolutely everything. So this weekend we are experiencing an important conjunction in Gemini, and this is something to be prepared for. Reminding you, Gemini rules the mind, communication, information, messages, movement, short trips, nervous system activity, writing, thinking, connections, conversations, and all the ways we process and exchange data. When Mars meets Uranus there, things can move very quickly. Thoughts can come fast, information can come very suddenly, your reactions can be very sharp, and news can arrive unexpectedly. People can reach out of nowhere, okay? So all the things are very possible with this kind of energy. And here, before I continue, I want to mention something very important, because in general, I already told you, I don't really like to fully go in discussing like specific transits, meaning like saying whatever everyone else saying, because my point of view, my interpretation, my meaning, my eyes, my mind see things differently, process differently. I am my own person, so I don't need to be like just everyone, and just like everyone don't need to be like everyone. So very importantly, with that being said, I want you to understand that most of the times, you're gonna see right now posts on social media specifically, right? Because we are ruled by social media right now, about be careful with this conjunction of Mars and Uranus in Gemini. Something is going to happen, something explosive. And although energy is literally explosive, it does not need to be like that, and does not need to manifest like that, especially in our current times and day, when most of the things done behind the curtain, very subtle. You know, you don't even know when you're when you're being lied to, when you're being manipulated. What are you believing? It's like we're like in complete, like, you know, purgatory zone with that, right? It's like magic tricks all over. And this is on individual and collective levels. So I want you to understand that I'm not going to tell you these kind of things that you will find on social media, okay? Because I interpreted the transits completely different. I do not look at one specific transit like nothing else is happening, okay? Obviously, there is the whole picture, plus your own natal chart. Plus there is, like, you know, it's like a Russian matryoshka. There is too many layers, okay? So with that being said, in my personal opinion, this transit can be either or. It's all depends on you and on the way you observe your life, the way you look at things. What is your lens? What is your prism? Are you looking at your life through fear, projection, reaction, resentment, comparison, or emotional exhaustion? Or are you able to pause long enough to actually see what is being shown to you, right? And understand that these prisms and lenses, they are changing throughout your life. And if they are not, it's definitely a problem, okay? So, and you need to change the lens and the prism, okay? Also, look at yourself and stop focusing on the external world. This is crucial and very important. I will never stop saying that. So you can use this energy for your own betterment, advancement, and deeper understanding of certain things. Or it can become a complete distraction. The choice is yours and the answer will depend on you and only you. And I'm telling you this, guys, from my own personal experience. And I've been through many things in life. I call myself Phoenix, you know, I mean, it's truly, and I have actually been calling myself Phoenix for quite some time, you know, not only when I started to go to some crucial transformations. I've always been associating myself with these kind of things. Also transformation in general, I'm not scared of that, and I don't think anybody should, because it's for better. We always go through these cycles. It's just like, you know, because people are missing right now so much information from our past, and we are to believe that people were stupid and we're right now smart. It's quite the opposite. It's quite the opposite, okay? Like I told you, we are not in the process of evolution. We're downgrading, we're degrading with crazy speed, okay? We have to do something with that. So anyway, right now, it's a very big possibility of heightened emotions, extreme feelings, and possible messages from the past, because don't forget that we are in a very mercurial realm in general, because not only Mercury is retrograding, Geminis are getting action for quite some time. So Mercury is getting affected. Also, South Node is finishing its journey. Right now, it's in the beginning of degrees, because South Node is because nodes go in retrograde. Just to remind you, they're always moving like that. So, with that being said, also one more thing I want to add before I forget. Very interestingly, yesterday I looked at the chart and I saw that we're having right now, like, I think between 7 to 8 different points, planets and points in the beginning degrees. So let's count, let's say it's Pluto retrograde in Aquarius, right? It's at 4 or 5 degrees, like around that, something. Don't remember exactly. There is a Neptune around the same degrees. There is Uranus, obviously, Mars that is about to conjunct it. It's Jupiter, it's South Node, it's North Node. So there is like a lot of action. There is definitely a huge indication for the beginning of times. And soon Venus also going to move to Virgo. So it's also going to start some new energy. And remember that Venus in Virgo can be over analytical and overthinking and catching to the details and be very like that, you know, on the small things and on the details. But Virgo point in general, and like any other axis, but with Virgo Pisces is to actually have a bigger view and faith into unknown, because Virgos, like I told you, they need receipt, they need confirmation of things. And although deep inside, they actually do believe in something bigger, but it's just like, I guess it's some kind of internal blockage, perhaps of some kind of fear or something, subconscious, that they just cannot relax enough to believe. Because perhaps at some point they believed in something and then they had some kind of really traumatic experience, and everyone can experience trauma in different ways, okay? So we're not measuring that. Okay, I'm getting distracted, guys. Okay, let's get back. So, Mercury retrograde. So it can be communication with people who have not been in your orbit for quite some time, or a return of the same things that were present before in your life. Something that looked finished may become present again, and something that was pushed away may come back into the room. Something you thought that you had already processed may show up from another angle, and this is also very possible. Because remember, we are going through those specific degrees in Cancer that we keep repeating. So there is some kind of definitely themes from the past, and I still was unable to upload a video about Mercury retrograde. It's not even a long one, it's like 9 minutes, but I literally have no space, and I'm waiting for this USB card drive to arrive, and then I will move all the information and then we'll be able to upload this. And over there I'm actually discussing the specific dates to look at also. So if you had your readings with me, or if you've been following me for quite some time, I love dates, and I love to look at the specific dates. What does it connect? What is the theme? And all about it. So anyway, again, I'm getting distracted. You see Mercury retrograde and Gemini ascendant, this is what they do for me. Uranus, everything there. So because of that, the mind right now might not be able to process everything properly at first, and it can react instead. And when I say reaction, guys, I mean either a very intense, fiery reaction like Mars, or a deeply emotional one like a Cancer. Both can come up very suddenly, feel bigger than the actual situation, and can show you the situation is not only about what is happening now, but also what was connected to inside of you. Perhaps you might now find out the core seed of the problem, the core of the onion, the reason for everything, okay? And why it was triggering you, why it was causing you all of these feelings. You might have some kind of epiphany or enlightenment, and it's actually coincides with Mars and Uranus conjunction in Gemini, because Uranus is nothing bad, it's just sudden. It can be also very sudden sparks of enlightenment, of innovation, of creation, of like a completely new way of thinking. So it can be something really, really great. All in all, I think it's some kind of understanding is going to arrive about specific things in your life from the past, and perhaps now you will be able to finally to let go of the situation, heal yourself, not only to patch it, not only put the bandage, but actually stitch everything, regrow new skin here. That's it. We are healed. Okay, we're regenerated, and we can now get into the new future with North Node and South Node transferring to Leo and Aquarius, and to start with all the new planets, right? Closing all of those chapters. We must do that in order to move to the future and to realign with truly who we are, instead of being this kind of like not complete version of ourselves, always giving something to someone else, from that wound. I mean, like reaction and energy. So this Mercury retrograde in Cancer is quite important again. Cancer brings us into the territory of memory, home, roots, family, ancestry, emotional condition, inner child, everything, right? Homeland, what your body needs for safety, the inner emotional foundation. So when Mercury is retrograding in Cancer, the mind turns backward through emotional material. It reviews these feelings, memories, reaction, conversations, and believe you me, you will right now start to think all of a sudden about some people from your past, or suddenly you will start to think about situations that you have not thought ever of, or for quite some time. Or maybe you will remember something that you completely forgot or spaced out or blocked for some reason. Again, it can be some kind of like eureka moment, like, wow, epiphany, wow, that was it for, oh my God, now I understand and now I can move forward. I feel like, after that is going to come like really great feelings. I don't know why this is how I feel. Share in the comments or DM me, how you feel about that and what's happening with you. Or if you have any specific question or two. So we are reviewing right now all those feelings, right? And patterns, words we said, and the emotional meaning we attach to certain experiences. We might now understand why we were reacting that way. Or now you might suddenly start to feel like completely different about situation or person. Now you might now understand yourself better. And I also want you to understand that these realizations, they have to come about yourself and not another person. I mean, like, you can understand maybe that another person, what they meant specifically, you might have some deeper understanding of that, but all in all, it's because you understood something of yourself, your reaction, and your feelings, your emotions. Because we're like removing these layers, we're shedding the skin like a snake, Actually, I had this dream today. It's like crazy. I was shedding the skin quite literally in my dream. So I guess I am also transforming, arriving to some new also beginnings. Now, so another possibility with this whole configuration is that something can suddenly change your life upside down or put it back into the direction where it was supposed to be. In a way, can make a quantum jump. But again, it all depends on how conscious you are inside of this process. So stop observing other people so much. Stop thinking about what they do, what they think, how they will react, what they meant, what they said, what they think about you, what they're going to do next. Start observing yourself. Why do you have certain things in your life? Why do you concentrate so much on other people? Why you feel in a certain way? What are you doing and why? Why are you repeating certain patterns? Why are you still carrying this weight with you? Why are you still are you still trying to prove to yourself or to other people for some reason? What are you still waiting for from the past that you deep inside know will never arrive? We are finishing our journey, like I said, with the nodes in Virgo and Pisces, and finished in outer planets already with the other signs, while also standing like in the beginning of all these new journeys, collectively and individually. The second half of the year is becoming very eventful and very important, guys. This Mercury retrograde asks us to finally look at the wounds that are causing personal limitations and stagnation. Right now, these wounds are connected to the Cancer area of your natal chart. Your next step will be looking at your natal Chiron as an indicator of your own natal wound, but pay extremely important attention to the Cancer area because we have been walking the same road there since last year. And transit Chiron only moved to Taurus recently, and it's still at 0 degrees. And like I said, we're only having a preview because it's going to station retrograde and go back to Aries. So we're not really experiencing Chiron in Taurus yet, okay? The Cancer area of your chart that's what also important precisely now, okay? And it's connecting to everything else, just like a story unfolding, okay? The Cancer area of your chart has been activated so many times this last year, so whatever is coming up now is connected to a larger process that has been unfolded for some time. Mercury retrograde brings attention back to this area so you can understand what still needs to be reviewed, corrected, healed, or finally released. Let's finish this journey, guys. Make peace where peace is needed. Make amends where amends are needed. Let go of the unnecessary weight you are still carrying with you for some reason. In order to travel further, we need to be lighter. We do not need to carry all of this with us. This is our past, and we do not bring it into our future. And now, I want you to listen Mercury retrograde in Cancer through the houses. It's a little prognosis that I put together. So this is for your rising sign, but you can also read it for your sun and moon after. So Cancer, this is happening in your first house. This is deeply personal. It brings you back to yourself, your body, your identity, your emotional reactions, your appearance, your self-presentation, and the way you instinctively meet life. You may feel more sensitive than usual, and this sensitivity can give you important information. Pay attention to how your body responds before your mind has time to explain anything. Your nervous system might show you what is no longer aligned with who you're becoming. This can also bring people from the past who remind you of the older versions of yourself. The point is to see how much you've changed and where you still react from an all-emotional self-image. And I also want to mention here, literally pay attention to your body, because first house, it's your body. If you don't give yourself enough rest emotionally, mentally, physically, you will crash and you will experience this retrograde very heavily. Right now, when you can experience it, actually very great because of Leo and Jupiter and others. Okay, guys, so let's move to Cancer in the second house. This retrograde is connected to your values, money, self-worth, food, stability, possessions, and the way you create emotional safety through material reality. Old financial patterns can return, family-related money stories can become more visible. You may notice emotional spending, emotional saving, or decisions around money that are not practical but deeply connected to fear, childhood, security, or the need to feel protected. This is a good time to review what you actually value now, what genuinely supports the life that you are building next, what gives you real stability, and what only gives you temporary comfort. And I also want to mention here, have more faith. Extremely important right now when we're changing the nodes. You might experience a crazy delay during Mercury retrograde and then find out the day after that everything was good and you drove yourself crazy for nothing. It happened to me millions of times. Send me a message, I will tell you the stories. Cancer in the third house. This retrograde activates communication, siblings, neighbors, short trips, documents, writing, learning, messages in your immediate environment. Past conversations can return, people may reach out, something that was misunderstood before may need to be discussed again. There can also be some delays, emotional texts, old documents, family conversations, or information that makes you rethink how you have been processing certain things. The main work here is to observe your language. What do you say when you're emotional? What do you avoid saying? Where do you over-explain, defend, withdraw, react too quickly? This retrograde can help you change the way your mind and emotions work together. Cancer in the fourth house. This is one of the strongest placements for this Mercury retrograde. It directly activates your home, family, parents, ancestry, childhood, emotional foundations, private life, and the place inside you where safety was first formed or disrupted. Something from the roots can return. This can be literal family matters, memories, old living situations, childhood themes, motherline issues or fatherline issues, ancestral patterns, emotional material connected to the house itself. So do not underestimate what comes up right now. This is about understanding what still controls your present life from the root system. So you might need to make peace with something, have a conversation with someone, change something at home, or finally see where your emotional foundation needs repair. Cancer in the fifth house. This retrograde moves through your romance, creativity, children, pleasure, visibility, joy, desire, and self-expression. Old lovers can return, but so can old creative ideas. You may revisit something you once loved, something you created, something who awakened your heart, or a part of yourself that knew how to feel joy before life became too heavy or too complicated. This is also a review of emotional risk. Can you express yourself without needing to control the response? Can you create without turning everything into pressure? Can you allow pleasure without guilt? The heart may remember something now, but you need to decide what belongs into your future and what was only a chapter. If Cancer is in your 6th house, this retrograde activates health, work, daily routine, habits, service, digestion, stress, emotional regulation, and the way your body responds to your everyday life. The body can speak very clearly during this retrograde, guys. Fatigue, fogginess, digestive sensitivity, sleep disruption, emotional eating, or nervous system overload can show where your routine is not supporting you anymore. This is the time to listen to your body very carefully. Look at your schedule, your food, your workload, your emotional labor, and the way you serve others. Something in your daily structure needs adjustment because your body cannot continue carrying what the mind keeps normalizing. I actually know many people like that, most of them Sagittarius rising. Well, because also obviously it's Cancer in their 6th house. They truly like that. Also a lot of people with Leo placements. Cancer in the 7th house. If Cancer in your 7th house, this retrograde activates your relationship, marriage, clients, contracts, open conversations, agreements, and one-on-one dynamics. People from the past return, old relationship themes can become visible again, but this does not automatically mean that you need to reopen the door for everyone and everything. It means that you need to observe what the relationship dynamic shows you about yourself. What role do you keep playing in relationships? Where do you overcare, overprotect, withdraw, attach, defend, or expect the other person to give you the emotional safety you have not fully built inside yourself? This retrograde can bring important conversations to you, but the main one is still with one to have with yourself, as I always say. If Cancer is in your 8th house, this retrograde can feel intense because it activates intimacy, trust, shared money, debts, taxes, inheritance, grief, fear, psychological patterns, emotional merging, and the material that usually lives below the surface. So something hidden because it belongs to Scorpio originally. Something hidden can come up and all pain can return also. A financial or emotional entanglement may need to be reviewed. You may see finally now where you're still bonded to someone or something through fear, guilt, grief, desire, dependency on unresolved emotional history. This can be very cleansing for you, but it requires a complete honesty. And the point is to see what has been running your choices from underneath and to release the weight that no longer needs to live in your body. If Cancer is in your 9th house, this retrograde activates your belief system, higher education, spirituality, publishing, travel, foreign countries, legal matters, and larger worldview. You might now reconsider what you believe and why you believe it. Some of your belief systems may need to be inherited from family, culture, religion, your teachers, past experience, or old emotional survival mechanisms. This can also be a time when old writing, teaching, studies, travel plans, or publishing ideas return. The deeper question is whether your worldview still supports the person you are becoming. You are changing the lens through which you interpret your life. If Cancer is in your 10th house, this retrograde activates career, reputation, public image, authority, long-term direction, achievements, visibility in your relationship with success. Something connected to your professional path might need revision. You may feel unclear about direction, or you might now realize that old career goal no longer matches your inner life or what you desire. There can also be conversations with some authority figures, public visibility from the past, or professional matters that need to be revisited. This is a powerful time to ask whether your outer life reflects your emotional truth. Are you building something because it is aligned, or because an old version of you needs validation, safety, status, or approval? The answer matters now. If you're still acting, guys, from some anxiety and fear, it will not last for long. I'm telling you, the systems will start to crash, so you need to confront yourself with things and be honest. If Cancer is in your 11th house, this retrograde activates friends, communities, networks, audiences, collaborations, social media, long-term goals, and your future vision. People from the past can reappear, old friendship, communities, group dynamics, and audience-related themes can come back for review. Also, it can be about your goals and dreams, right? You might also start to see things very clearly, which circles support your future and which ones keep you emotionally tied to an old version of yourself. This house connects to your hopes and plans, as I mentioned. So something you once wanted might no longer feel relevant at all, or something you abandoned may now return with a new meaning to you. So the important part is to observe who and what belongs into your future and that you actually move into, and what and who needs to stay in the past. If Cancer is in your 12th house, this retrograde is deeply internal. It activates the subconscious, dreams, isolation, hidden emotions, spiritual work, grief, self-undoing patterns, and unresolved material from your past. You may feel more tired, foggy, emotional, intuitive, or withdrawn. Dreams can be stronger, memories can come back without clear understanding why. So like I mentioned in earlier, suddenly, you might not be able to verbalize everything right away, and that is okay. So do not rush your process here. Something is being released from a very deep layer of the psyche. We're shedding, remember? So this is the house where things often dissolve before it becomes visible in your material world. So rest, observe, write things down if you need to, pay attention to your dreams, and do not force clarity before it arrives to you naturally. This retrograde can help you close an old emotional chapter before the next one begins. And in general, I want to recommend you guys to pay attention to your dreams. I don't know about you, but recently, this year, but with the recent months, my dreams are so vivid. In general, I had like dreams that came true extraordinarily to the detail. People are still freaked out, and I had them many times, and usually I remember my dreams, but now they're so clear and so symbolic. Also, I would love to hear if you experience the same things and what are you dreaming about now, because we're dreaming in symbols, right? So we can pretty much decode everything, our psyche talking to us. So all in all, I wish everybody great weekend and happy 4th of July to my American fellows, and stay safe, stay calm, and thank you everyone for being here.